The New Year's Eve Ghost. Collected Poems. By Alfred Vassallo. From the book by the same name.
A ghost. A ghost, sometimes known as an apparition, haunt, phantom, poltergeist, shade, spectre, spirit, spook, and wraith, is the soul or spirit of a dead person or animal that can appear to the living. The belief in the existence of an afterlife, as well as manifestations of the spirits of the dead, is widespread, dating back to animism or ancestor worship in pre-literate cultures. The overwhelming consensus of science is that ghosts do not exist. Their existence is impossible to falsify, and ghost hunting has been classified as pseudoscience. Despite centuries of investigation, there is no scientific evidence that any location is inhabited by spirits of the dead.
The New Year's Eve Ghost. I opened my eyes for some reason. It was 11 o'clock at night. I heard the sound of steps in the room. I did not see a lot and got a fright. All I could see was a shape standing still. The figure was much closer than I thought. Though the heating was on, I felt a sudden chill. I noticed that it was tall and had long hair. Though frightened, I kept staring ahead. I was not sure if I was hallucinating. To my shock, the figure sat on the bed. It was a woman staring at me. I knew from the shape of her breast. I was petrified, but I couldn't flee. The woman did not move either. I kept observing her for a while. Standing there like two statues. She came closer and gave me a smile. Stretching out her hand, she touched my face. I noticed her hand was surprisingly warm. I held my breath, wanting to leave the place. She moved her hand again and took mine in hers. "It's a habit of mine, I can't help it," she said. I saw her face and the beauty she possessed. Except for her eyes, which were insipid and sad. "Who are you?" I asked with a low voice. "I am the woman who will change your life." "Are you a ghost?" I asked. I had no choice. "Why do you keep fidgeting my fingers?" I continued. She replied, "For a long time I was blind." "Oh. Were you born blind?" I asked again. "Yes," she changed her voice. "Now I am assigned to you." I didn't dare to ask, all I knew was that she was kind. She continued as she answered my unspoken question. "I know that killing yourself is always on your mind." I felt a huge pain in my chest. They were pains of grief. I was contemplating suicide, my thoughts were one-sided. She was my own guardian angel in a charming disguise. She showed me the true way of life and I abided. New Year's Eve was close and coming to a joyful end. I hope this friendly ghost keeps visiting me regularly. Assuming my time on earth I will not suspend.
Chrysanthemum. Delicate flower, perennial budding shrub, to decorative. The name chrysanthemum comes from the Greek words, chrysos meaning gold, and anthemon meaning flower. Jerry Lewis. Idiocy and foolishness in many films portrayed. From Russian Blood Joseph Levitch was made. For his charity fundraising he's well known.
Dear Diary. Yesterday, true and tender love entered my heart. It gave me hurdles to skip and jump, hurdles always in my way, trying to trip me up never to depart. Today, hate from wicked people has not washed me away, insta's left me with pool of tears. I've searched a way out of it, I have been left astray. Tomorrow, evil shall lead me back to a long and desperate road. Will it take me to a pool of tears? Will it make me sob all the while, tears which pours from my weary eyes, filled with dismay? Today, give me back the strength to repent from despairing state, which left me in a pool of tears, filled with indifference, irrelevance and hate.
Our love is one. Whispering thoughts. Floating. Entering my heart. Devoting. My anxious desires. Fulfilling. With true love. Willing. Murmuring thoughts. reassuring all emotions, curing anxious desires, gratified with true love, satisfied. Hold me close and tight. On your shoulders let me cry tears of love for you, loving you till I die. Wildlife. Beauty and nature, life's upstanding pair. Landscape confluence splendors. The undisturbed wild by deity styled. Face by human endangers. Aged oak tree in place maturing in grace. Serrated feathered vein leaves. Unbalanced branches, monkeys take chances. Squirrels upon sheaves. I'll recall. My mind can't believe that we met again. I keep telling myself it did not happen. How can I believe that we cuddled and kissed? 30 years apart and our hearts were still open. Remember the time we spent together. Recall only our love that used to be so inspiring. Anticipate only the time we are going to spend together. In the realm of the dead where we both be living. In our new dominion we will relive the memories. With our reminiscence still intact we will rejoice. We'll have the best life with all the other souls. We can also make spirited love if that is our choice.
Lacrimation. Limpidness is the way forward. Avoiding truth is ineffective, causing more problems to accumulate, removing doubts from the heart, instead filled with beliefs, making the most of compassion, acquits the guilt process with the purity of tears held, innocence proclaims the power of obedience, speaking more eloquently than notions from thousands' mind. Hans Christian Andersen. Gifted author from Denmark, his fairy Stroyes Mark was hurt with lamentations, refused sexual relations. Taunted. My girl taunted me as she smiled, asking me to go and walk with her. Come to bed with me, she said, accepting I didn't have to confer. There is no excuse, I have nothing to lose. I told the girl I'm in her power, whatever happens I will not cower. In life I like to be alone, I had to tell her before I'm gone. She cried but did not work, her love was the only one suffering. Where does it hurt? I said, the mind and heart smothering. Saying if you do stay with me, I haunt you and will not set you free. I've dreamt an awful dream, in which I laughed and screamed.
The rainbow. The phenomenon that causes a spectrum of light. I feel amazed. I am perplexed. All those diverse colors. What a wonderful sight. Created in an optical and meteorological phenomenon. That causes a spectrum of light. To appear in a vast space of the air that surround us. The amazing sky above. Forces me to love. I cannot understand. Neither do I recognize. This scientific freak of nature compels my amity to be my future. How did it come to form? I am sure there's an explanation. But it makes me think of how objects and visions appear out of nowhere. Induces my heart to be fair. Rainbow, oh rainbow. Displaying this mirage of colors. After torrential rain that came down from the darkest clouds. In the vast stunning sky above us. Cleansing me from the hatred virus. The rainbow. Placed solidly in our memories. Owing to its magnificent, resplendent beauty. Making it very difficult. In explaining the marvel. Causing my compassion to sparkle. This kaleidoscopic wonder. Considered to be a path between heaven and earth. By Iris the messenger. The personification of our rainbow. Surely affecting our love to flow.
The unmelodic seasons. This summer, the less I meet, the one I love, the more I hate to be neglected. This loving hateful feeling betrays my beliefs, which leaves me pitiful and deserted. In the autumn, with every emotion that I should feel, with every thought that I tried to nurture, my reasons will be lost in a foggy space, without motives, into my vague future. In the cold winter nights, how will I feel? I can't comprehend why I adore the one I mistreat, is beyond normal apprehension, causing my mind to accept defeat. Then, when the coolness of spring arrives, what will be the motive of this intrigued situation? The more I see the one I disregard, the less bewildered I will become, which evidently will leave me scarred.
Thwarted restriction. Caged. Like a tiger. For safety precautions. To minimize harmful hazards. From a mind. Controlled. By logic and sense. Confined. Like a lion. Making sure. Escapism is discouraged. Restraining the tongue. From spilling out. The truth. Detained. Like a bird. Lacking freedom. With clipped wings. Unable to express. Flight of immunity. And privilege. Incarcerated. Behind wired fence. Hoping that the accusers. And the oppressors. Would understand. Confining doesn't work. It enhances liberty.
Dreaded life. In the austere state of the mind, standing alone in a dreary daze, tears had fallen on a sad face, consequence of dismal phase. My God tolerated on earth is not your God, freedom at will shall come my way, avoiding the populous space around me, for I will always stand in disarray. Demons and sprites have been established, imps and monsters crammed inside, exposing the steep road ahead, knowing my dreaded living coincide. What if I do not surrender so quickly? If I were strong I will conquer, if I were brave I will escape, yet I cannot, I'm in dishonor.
Earthquake. The tremors. I feel inside me. The throbbing. That goes through my veins. The quaver. That shows on my lips. Causes. My living tugged by strong reins. I shake. With a rapid tremulous quiver. These vibrations. Conflicting with my brains. Is not surprising that I waver unsteadily. Towards. The end of what still remains. How can I cope with all these shudders? Compromising. My surrender without restraints. To whom am I expected to submit to? Not to God. Neither to Satan. I shall yield only. To the compassionate bidder. With a pledge. To be subjugated without pains. Then my soul. Will feel the freedom of slavery. Without belts. Without whips. And without chains. I am free now. But I hardly ever felt like a slave. Liberty is mine to relish it suitably in my grave. Honor Blackman. For royal honors she was never fussy. Bond girl in Goldfinger named Pussy. Sang a surprise kinky boots with McNee. For Connery's tax evasion she publicly disagree. Hooligans. The is a caricature. A parody of the good. Not one to be seen with. His life's a falsehood. She is a mockery. A disgrace to humanity. A falsification to justice. Filled with enormous vanity. Both are an insult to the human race. Without direction and control. Predetermined to end in hell. Punished be their heart and soul. Death and me. Death is unemotional. Insensitive. Indifferent. Then it is cold. I can describe death. though I cannot influence it. I can see death. Death is silent, discreet, voiceless. Then it is faint. I can see death, though I cannot manipulate it. I can smell death. Death is motionless, stagnant, unruffled. Then it is unperturbed. I can smell death, though I cannot control it. I can taste death. Death is indelicate, unpleasant, uncooperative. Then it is irascible. I can taste death, though I cannot flee from it. I can feel death. Death is senseless, numb, mindless. Then it is useless. I can feel death, though I cannot escape it. Death, the ultimate of death, the forbidden silence, because silence is death.
Tsunami. Surfs from rising sea, wave train approaching quickly, a long-drawn race. Picnic. Picnic by moonlight, devoid of heat exhaustion, refreshing sea air. Pomegranate blossoms, flowers before petals fall, fertility sign. Observers. Moonlight serenade, silvery clouds dancing, we are spectators. Non-exempt. The unknown sits and wait, assuming the worst to come, the sweet hereafter. Spaced out. Mushroom gathering, hallucinogenic time, away with the fairies. Special intent. Got God and for truth, learn or depart, amiable deed, valuable.
Big mouths and venomous words. I wish I had the ability to shut some awful mouths. To put a stopcock so no more venomous words come out. Those vile people who act falsely like decent people, while sticking knives at the back pretending to be devout. I wish they look closely into their tormented conscience, where it lies hidden entwined by the decay of their soul. They kiss you in the cheek and show compassion, while all the while their vile tongues manipulate and cajole.
Bill Clinton did not have sex with Monica Lewinsky. The scandal took hold on the presidency. The first baby boomer president, Hillary, thought it was irrelevant. George Walker Bush, 43rd President of the USA, his gaffes made my day, popular but not with all, yet was caring after all. Donald Trump is his name. He put America in shame, criticizing nearly everyone. Many want him to step down.
Slipping away. She wasn't an adult yet, only in her teens. I was holding her tight with my earnest hands. I'd always seen myself clearly. Astute, well-behaved, intelligent. I was Mr. Know-it-all. When the decision came, I was cuddling her, lost in naivety, enjoying our fast-beating hearts. I held tight to her. It was the worst cuddle I've ever made. Yet, all the time, I held her hands in mine. I knew I must never let go. But slowly, with painless words, I let her know. I wanted to slip away. It must have had an enormous cause. A serious reason. A definite motivation. I never saw her again. Never heard from her. She was gone. Lost in the space of my life. Every night. Every time I close my eyes. Every time I relax to sleep. I feel her beside me. I find myself hugging her. Touching her. Kissing her. I also let her slip away. Every damn night. I lose her again. Every night I tell her of my decision. Every night I cry. I regret. I suffer.
Epsilon. Empty is my mind although stubborn, enchanted is my old love although true, enchained are my arms although freed, entangled are my legs although loose. Enslaved is my soul although unfettered. Envious are my eyes although contented. Endangered are my ears although safe. Exposed is my heart although not broken. Exhausted is my penis although active. Embarrassed I am though I do not care. Special intent. Got God and for truth. Learn or depart. Amiable deed, valuable. Glow in the dark. Pigments in the dark. Into obscurity. Phosphorescent gleam. Man-eaters. Taken away. Carried like a dog. The pot is boiling. Tempest. Clouds of gloom. Hovering. As the crow flies. Soaked. Sweltering summer. A bath in a tub. Swimsuit unwanted. Meltdown. Button pressed. Sirens sounds alarmingly. Mushroom omelette. Late night. Into the doghouse. Signs of early morning rain. Full-hearted breakfast. The snail. Rain stops. Out it looms crawling slowly. Wagon trail. Triangular seeds. Too short season crop. Languishing buckwheat flour. Flat bread. The scent of my soul. An aura of doom. A soul suspended on air. Unnecessary.
Citizens of the sea. Always a little frightened of betrayal. Admirable fishers of the hearts. The idea is too much of a portrayal. Having the salt in your hearts. The depth of the emotional souls. Fearless women in their shawls. Repeatedly dying of nostalgia. When they travel outwardly they die. For their desire to underlie. Looking endlessly to the skyline. Pondering where their true lives hang. Transporting their thoughts on a timeline. Who leave behind the summer beach. Going where the waves shall transport them. Far away carrying what they breach. The blue sea friend of the foes. Who know nothing about you. Will destroy all minds with woes. Will questionably come face to face. With the citizens of the land. Where they will vanish without trace. They become prisoners of these cities. Pinned down by abuses and discretions. Becoming alcoholics and drug addicts. Ending finally anguished full of depressions. Don't let your summers evaporate in nothingness. You'll end up frustrated and severely tainted. In conclusion, you'll become part of the punishments. Destroying angel. I'm the angel of destruction. So far away yet so very near. One can almost feel my spectre. Homing around with words that irritate. Words of truth. Words that hurt. I'm the angel of corruption. Not because I don't favor God. Only because I hate hypocrisy. Insincerity and pretense. Hating the truth. Truth that hurt. I'm the angel of destruction. Very ordinary and true. With a carefree heart and mind. Inscribing actual and fertile deeds. Deeds of truth. Deeds that hurt. I'm the angel of corruption. With all free will power. To be what I want to be. Will assist in many ways. Assisting all that is true. Despising all that the false.
Getting hooked. Love suits, even better, after tasting it. Sex befits the body, surely not?
A soul's journey. My personality has begun a crossing. A crossroad that will open up. Truth. It will link the past to the future. A voyage that will lead me to a very dark place. Of my must be forgotten. Youth. A deceptive tranquility. Is falling upon me. Deeply. Dawn will appear very soon. Bringing the unresolved misfortunes. Of yesteryear's anxieties. Steeply. Two hearts I do have. One filled with the present. Unsatisfied. The other slowly deteriorating. with the failed past, mingled together forever, petrified. There are no boundaries. What life will do to me? Unexpectedly. It will sink to the deepest, descend into corruption, desecrate and violate time. Effectively. Death is drawing nearer, closer and closer, appreciated, and out of the weakened body, exhausted with expectations, never to be realized, decimated. Consequences. Every reason is hidden. All outcomes utterly displayed. Understandably so foolish. Eye of the beholder. Meeting a natural blonde with sparkling eyes, whose smile is opened with glad expression, with a kind of beauty no matter what she wears, consigning my heart with loving impression, just like stained glass window sparkling and shining. She's a stunning brunette shimmering from within. Her beauty is revealed to the emotional heart, where conveniently my romantic treks begin. I've never lost a chance of seeing anything so beautiful. For beauty's is God's handwriting and it reads well. She has no voice to speak, no ears to hear. Yet her loving character placed me under her spell. Beauty invariably excites my sensitive soul to tears. Whatever kind of splendor in its supreme development. She lives on a wheelchair she can never walk. Nevertheless my love for her is true and resonant. Since love grows continually within me, so beauty grows. For love is the enchanted asset, her heart and mine. She has no knowledge of my face, she is charmingly blind. Her unworkable eyes produces character so divine. Her beauty is truth's smile even though weak and fragile. She observes her own face in a perfect parallel. I feast my eyes on her traditional loving embraces. Her tongue speaks only truth forever nouvelle. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, which is I. It is only temporary, but the mind lasts a lifetime. Love of beauty is a taste of creation art. It transports me into ecstasy, forever grateful on cloud nine. Clinging to her love. As I walked into her sophisticated arms, her warm smile welcomed me sincerely. Though besotted and obsessed by beauty and charm, didn't know the truth facing me at the time. Consumed and blinded. Forever in my heart she stood. Not realizing how inflamed I was to become. Knowing I forcibly manipulated into a web of deceit. For I kept clinging to her love. Clinging by a straw. Her sophisticated arms I stayed for long enslaved. Not welcomed. Realizing how the dream entangled with reality. Displaying false emotions. With the heart in pain. Beaten.
Darkness at midday, horrendous blackness at midday, strong winds seducing me, the howling of the sad wolves, children of the night sounding free. What music they make, Dracula exclaimed one time, as my soul I did forsake. Noon darkness over me, I must forbear my cruel guilt, surrounded by unreal forces, succumb to their pretty filth. Am I actual alive, enchanting but horribly sad, sadness digging profoundly into the heart, condemning me lifeless but not dead?
Hidden. Afraid, I'm in darkness. Scared, I'm locked up. Making no noises. In silence, SSHHHSSHH. Hidden from what was to come. Hidden for weeks. Months. Breathing. Moving a bit. Bit by bit. Heard voices. Conversations. Not clearly, but I heard. Alone, no more. A vacuum pulled me down. Scared. Terrified. As I slipped out. Blooded. Hanging by the umbilical cord. I'll ask within reason. When I see reason I ask. To relive the precise moment of mine. Hoping not to wait too long for my demise. Assuming I'll be back in time. When I meet reason I will request. To seek knowledge of the one I'll befriend. Hoping I don't have to wait until I'm dead. Don't take me now, leave me till the end. When I relive the moments I want and I acknowledge. Anticipating I'll be pleased with the accomplishment. I don't have to pursue my realization again. I will let the findings to be my judgment.
Lady Rose. Rose, beautiful Rose, you're the only woman, on a throne I place you, my Lady Rose, Queen of my heart you are and always be, an unsung song I sing and propose. Rose, stunning Rose, you're the only woman, true compassion came and lingered, with jealous lovers tempting you, my heart stabbed but not injured. Rose, gorgeous Rose, you're the only woman, caring you are and most inspirational, you speak little words which are stimulating, offering true affections and rational. Rose, sexy Rose, you're the only woman, many times we make love and a new world reborn, filled with perfumed lilies of the valley, confirming my love on the altar sworn. Searching. It wasn't the way, not how I was living, it was neither, the thoughts that I thought, it was not the actions, that I took, but the frivolity, that I sought. It had something, to do with the craving, something to do, with the bottle of wine, it changed me, into an intense man, it was the addiction, who put me out of line. I never have peace, in my heart and soul, the words I say, speaks out ardently, the thumping, that fondles my heart, it's the feeling, that makes it fall apart. I am derelict, like an old house, don't know anything, about me at all, the dilapidated temple, of my consciousness, finding, I'm in deserted ruined pitfall. The devil's disciples. I keep thinking that Satan got something for me, something you call hate but nothing less. His help gave me freedom and satisfaction, I favored it and I don't care less. Satan was not made for caring and neither for loving, his motivation is being loosened and full of harshness, rewarding his disciples with generous gifts of many, confiscating only the souls proclaiming sacredness. He keeps lifting my confidence when it's very low, keeps me in his sight so I don't slip away, will send me in the right places of fancy, satisfying me so under his command I stay. I know what our little devil forever does, cause Satan was made for our immoral freedom, realizing our forbidden dreams in full, with condescending treasures from his kingdom.
The healing touch. A beautiful light on my dark perspective. Vastly shining with its fluorescent way. A light which banished my fears and worries. From the heart which had been healed today. I speak it out to others with burdens like mine. My statement shall be strong and tenderly deep. My heart had been healed today. I disclose it to sad hearts that weep. The disappointments disappeared. The heart lives once again. Theirs shall be cured the same way. It will diminish anxiety and pain. The agonies and miseries. All of which they constantly feel. The message yells there's no more pain. No heartaches which the heart can't heal. I shall remind all of my healed heart. A heart that shall enlighten my way. It will sail on troubled waters. For I have been healed today.
Too many words. Too many late nights recently, too much drink. Anyway, time marches on, and I know it. I can only tell what's on my mind. Everyone has a niggling worries, though my worry is rather special. That's why I'm locked up in oblivion. Why do I spill words so much? I cannot bring myself to say what's troubling me, till I speak words. My anxiety, my fear, my irritation, will remain only a dream. Once I utter words, I will manifest my anxiety. I'm scared. I'm scared shitless, my anxiety terrifies me, I'm not used to describe complex words, unless I'm dreaming. I do go on, don't I? I can't help myself. Yet when it comes to my nightmares, mine are trivial, nondescript and insipid.
Wonder in darkness, bringing hush and absolute dumbness. If man understand own obscurity, woman would be able to identify morality. In its blackness the hearts remove. Death will certainly approve. Darkness forever sleep of men, extinction for waking women. In darkness exists gracious peace.
From white to black. The moment I find myself facing shame, from the behavior of the night before, through my usual binge drinking, my audacious mind changes to a calm sure. The courageous foul-mouthed drunken man, converts once again into a humble person, very frightened, confused with remorse and guilt, the eyes cry in pain as the damage has been done.
Condition. The symbol of affliction. With legacy that binds wholeheartedly to a reluctant life. Shattering existence. Lying in fragments. A awful nightmare. A sick illusion. Victim of amnesia. Bewildered. Muddled.
Coffin Paris. A wintry morning where the rain did not stop, a wet leaf quivered, descending from a nearby tree. On our table, it shone a bit, as if supported by the hidden rays of the sun. A bird settled on a lamppost, watching me drinking coffee, accompanied by the woman I love. Having a decent conversation, simulating the very dark black coffee I was drinking, strengthened by a measure of Pernod, it was inspiring, like the surroundings of the spacious coffee bar, while our cups and saucers became the language themselves. A mixed weather on a morning in Paris, feeling lucky enough to have visited, with the lady I love most, knowing surely wherever we visit again, the city of Paris will remain with us forever. Paris a lover's nest with its coffee, amusing in itself, becoming an immovable feast.
Love at my command. My love goes where I want to. It gives me service to what I desire. I'll present it to the one who wants it. Only for justification, not to conspire. My love will say whatever I want it to say. I let anything in my power come to pass. I will not teach it to abuse or shame. I shall advise it to cherish, not to harass. My love will do whatever I want to do. I make it conquer hearts and thrive. Not for money, gold or diamonds. Only for affection, hoping it's still alive. My love will live until I so. It will sustain all that I command. It shall not hate other hearts. Through me I make it expand.
Remember. Light yourself with the eagerness of life, set it on fire with compassionate love, ignite it with your fondest memories, strike it with wonders to please the one above. Remembering it takes a little effort, with lots of courage on your part, don't be a fool, be on the alert, it shall fill the chasm of the heart. Sometimes one may feel out of touch, undergoing sadness, feeling under a spell. This is your life and is yours to protect. What is right for you, only you can tell.
Love unending. You in a passionate shore. No pleasure and honor so dear shall be. My deepest and innermost love to pour. In truest ardor sets my heart free. Not one voice can sing my voice. No tongue or an eye my truth can show. Nor can any memory my love shall find. No one but her whom I love and know. In sadness I shone with tears of love. Her love I shall take over to my grave. My cry divine, dampens the sad heart. In peace I lay with her love which I crave.
Wanting. She wanted a face that fitted her, it had to accommodate her soul. I want an unrecognizable face, so that no one will annoy me anymore. She designed a dress made of silk, bringing out the beauty she possesses. I desire a suit made only of iron, it should fit me for my defenses. She craved a heart that was truly honest. To counterpart her huge egoism, I craved a heart which will never break. My old one needs a good exorcism. She longed for a perfect living, without bother and difficulties. I longed for a perfect ending, devoid of pains and intricacies.
Doubts. I walk hand in hand with my shadow. It shows me the light of my inner glow. Hoping to escape from my nettled trail. Leaving very weak, unstable and frail. Sometimes I face many fears. With guilt that sheds many tears. Doubts from an exhausted past. Confusing me, utterly feeling aghast. I still face serious doubts and difficulties. Wrong decisions led to uncertainties. Qualms I have from choices made. To right what was wrong, my soul I trade.
Feeling of angst. I am here, can you hear me, you over there? Why the blindness, why am I crippled, why the deafness? Show me optimism, from a place of make-believe, for I live in pessimism. Why the abnormal, the unfamiliar hearts, am I normal? Why does darkness change to light, the silence explodes to vibrating sound, why all this spite bar? If a man doesn't hear he's deaf, if a woman loses her leg she's a cripple, so if you cook are you a chef? I cannot see I am blind, she cannot speak she is mute, he is evil he's not kind. We humans are ignorant, we don't listen to the truth, faith we recant. The arms fit the make of the law, blind zealots in abundance, for suicide bombers they fuck it all. Hearts filled with sadness, corruption and abhorrence, jealousy and fucking madness. I am still here, can you hear me bastards, bitches are you there?
Knowing all. I know a man by his clothes. A woman I know also. Do I recognize the baby? Of course I do by its torso. I know bright weather from stormy. I recognize rain from snow. Do I notice sleet? Of course I do, it comes down on show. I know a liar by his words. I see truth from within. Do I detect evil? Of course I do by committing a sin. I know an apple from an but its shape. I identify a peach from an apricot. Do I comprehend a snowberry? Of course I do, it a poisonous crop. I know workers from mailingless. I know success from failure. Do I know Christ? Of course I do, his was the Savior. I know healthiness from disease. I know strong cheeks from pallid. I know dead devours all. I know also being dead is being invalid. I know all there is to know. I know a dwarf from an elf. I know a fool by his face. I know everything except myself. Note. A snowberry is a Symphory carpose, commonly known as the snowberry, waxberry, or ghostberry, is a small genus of about 15 species of deciduous shrubs in the honeysuckle family. It is considered poisonous to humans.
Days are short. When I was in love I had a marvelous time, love was within me and the heart was fulfilled, love sublime it was, love enriched, when love was with me I hugged and kissed. When I was with hate I had an appalling time, the wickedness and evilness were there, weakening me and disheartening my life, despondency invaded me in despair. When I was with confidence I had a great time, a wonderful era for courage boosted my life, I was fortunate and it gave me means to live, when I was without security I was in strife. Days grow short and getting shorter, in the midst of living I avoided terror.
Eyes. An entry to a woman's heart. Only by a concentrated gaze. Yielding to her. Without a hypnotizing glare. Enjoying the inspiration from tears shed. Simplifying the passionate kiss on lips. Luscious. Bold and cruel they are. Tears drops flowing. From pitiless eyes. More vicious and a prize. Preposterous. Soon my sight returns to me, demanding justice from temporary loving blindness, caused by vindictive eyes less in part. Outrageous, tainted, corrupted eyes, looking at me deeply, creepily and horribly, from blemished vivacious eyes, spilling crocodile tears, which chastise, callous.
Unsolicited. It came from across, blown by a gust of wind, landing unexpectedly, inside the unfortunate heart, subjectively, unconsciously. Why did it land where it did? Considering the state I was in, taken by complete surprise, intentionally alighted to this place, pretending to be something, in disguise? No matter, it still lies here within me, thumping alongside the normal rhythm, without rest and without respite, aiming to catch my attention, assuming I shall accept the invite. It injured me considerably, left me unbalanced and suicidal, thinking I've recovered from this hell, I have nothing to do with this bridal. Once bitten twice shy, this love I shall defy. Definitely once and for all, for if I shall give in to it, I will surely tumble and fall.
Satan's invitation. You've been cordially invited, by Satan, to dance in this macabre service. Don't be frightened, don't hesitate, you are truly welcomed in his hospice. Satan always has a perfect plan. If you're not careful, he'll succeed. He puts desirable thoughts in your head, you are weak and your soul will concede. You may enjoy yourselves in his way, but don't be misled, he's the charmer. He will be generous with gifts of wonder, until he will become your lord and master. He comes in many disguises, you will not recognize him so easily. Once under his power of his illusion, you'll have to repay him dearly. Breeding. The urge we humans have for sex leads us to mass reproduction. Breeding is enormous these days, taxing pregnancy is the one solution. Is it wise to have children born rapidly, every few seconds that passes? We are not animals, we have common sense. Do we need the hustle of the masses? If children were brought into the world, by an act of pure reason alone, would the human race continue to exist? That's what Arthur Schopenhauer shown. Why is everyone allowed to have children? Some say it is the right of the people, but should we allow the unstable to have children, or should we castrate the insecure couple? To generate a pure breeding, Hitler's conception was somewhat pertinent, but those around him did not understand, and abused by slaughtering the innocent. A man who begets a child while drunk in a pub, with a woman whom he just met probably drunk too, it is not responsibility but utterly madness, resulting negatively in a birth without virtue. Let us unite in this cause, let's have children because we want them, not because they are conceived by error. Our lives already is in serious mayhem. No wonder the orphanages are full, it's all down to the sexual hazards, babies born without love and responsibility, growing up to be louts and misbehaving bastards. Breeding, quoting from Herod the Great, the people in them have so much seed, they are going to overpower us someday, so he killed children with great speed. Without our beloved children, the world will be extinct, with our awful children, their life will be succinct. Notes, the stanza, breeding, quoting from Herod the Great, the people in them have so much seed, they are going to overpower us someday, so he killed children with great speed, is written as a historic truth only. Arthur Schopenhauer, born 22nd of February 1788 and died 21st of September 1860, was a German philosopher, known for his pessimism and philosophical clarity. He held a very pessimistic view of the world. For him, the world was wretched, and human nature was nasty. People live, breed, and then they die. Hitler's conception was somewhat pertinent, not that I agreed with him, but there was logic in his idea. The meek. Happy are the meek, they shall receive, they've long suffered, and they'll conceive, submitting into a natural tendency, to obey, hoping they'll be gratified today. They will be humbled, in their lowly, unpretentious way. Their pacific way of life, is to softly to submit, accepting with unassuming conduct, and modest manners, to forcefully bow down and falsely re-emit. Behold the man. There he was, staring me in the eyes, gawking at me intensely, in defiance, while I was in compliance. Behold the man. Uttered the voice in the mirror, staring me in the eyes, look at me you damn fool, you are nothing but a lustful tool. I dared to gaze at the reflection, slowly but surely I recognized the form, staring me in the eyes. It was a pitiful shape, that made my mind agape. I saw a hostile face, bearded and untidy, staring me in the eyes, observing me penetratingly, giving me grief and misery. Then I noticed a tear seeping out, in slow motion, staring me in the eyes, hounded and pursued my feelings, exposing all my failings. At that moment I realized the truth. The reflection of the man, staring me in the eyes, was none other than yours truly, in full paramount atrocious glory. Following Dracula's footsteps, destroying all that will reflect, unfaithful mirrors and reflected glass, nothing will stare at me in the eyes, until into death hands I capsize. Fear without name. Obscurity arrived rapidly, surrounding my life hastily. With it came the trepidation, a fear without name, lacking status, short of foundation. It stalked my presence. It is a fear that disturbs my mind, a fear without identity, without contour, existing only in aggravating dreams, which leads me into ambiguous beliefs, compelled to look upon my face, realizing my actuality. What is happening I do not comprehend, all I know I'm terrorized by fear, an unspecified dread. The insane. Neglected in an isolated asylum, in a small rubber room, wretched, repugnant, forlorn and spiritless, in a rubber-padded room, filled with roses of gloom, choking me with its fragrance, smothering my convalesce. The beautiful thorns puncturing, smothering my convalesce, because I am insane, with a fragile brain. Forsaken in a closed hell, repudiated in prison cell, in solitary confinement in bliss. Strangled by the charming darkness, silenced by blackness, except for a woman in lament, climaxing with the devil's kiss. Confusing my erotic fantasies, climaxing with the devil's kiss, because I am insane, with a fragile brain. Secluded in a wine factory, where the grapes is satisfactory, the stench of alcohol dominating, overcoming my feelings, overpowering the cravings, the mouth parched, yearning with thirst, for a sip waiting. Getting intoxicated with thought binging, for a sip waiting, because I am insane, with a fragile brain. Obscurity entered my body, my tongue became bawdy, my soul fighting in defense. Truth will be protected, false witnesses dejected. I am locked up, from offense. I am frightened, from offense, because I am insane, with a fragile brain. Murkiness occupied my soul, it's as black as charcoal. I tumbled and fell from grace, evil woke from hell, residing with me in the soft cell, constantly lurking, living with me face to face. It laughs and I wail face to face, because I am insane, with a fragile brain. I am Humpty Dumpty, drinking a cup of tea. I did not fell from a wall, have twisted Jack's thumb, and bit Jill in the bum. I've punched Georgie Podgy, with him I had a brawl. I kissed little Bo Peep, she was better than a sex doll. Because of the fragile brain, I am completely insane. Brutality. Watching, with apprehension, all is happening, all at once, enough, to make me sick. The brutal state that the people at war, the killing in Afghanistan, the unrest in Syria, the bravery of the soldiers, slaughtered by the wars created, without justification, the brutish, ruthless, inhuman, acceleration of suicide bombers, cruelly murdering innocents, who happens to be in the wrong place, at the wrong time. The ferocious killings, of missing women and children, by sick minds of serial killers, the inhumanity we hear daily, of the happenings in the African states. Why are of these leaders, dictators and murderers, allowed to commit such atrocities. Earthquakes. Earth's tectonic plates causes earthquakes. Human activity also at hand brings out the shakes. Notes. Tectonic, relating to the forces that produce movement and deformation of the Earth's crust. Everlasting. Laughing and giggling, that beautiful face, and I? Loving her, only, without rest, in the morning, in the evening, during sleep, all the time. She? The same? Loving me all day through? No, I don't think so, because full of frivolity, silliness, and triviality. I'll try, and keep on trying, hoping, 'cause I love her, that this playful mind will change, someday. Lying on a mattress, reflecting, gazing at a blank ceiling, about a face, a smiling face, which drove me insane, bewitched me, saddened, distressed and wounded me. And this face, stamped on my mind, always, forever, even after many long years, a decade or two, directly onto my imagination, my fantasy, my will. She's cruel, was, then and now, without affections, cares and regards, because she knows, I love her. Still on the bed, facing the void, the nothingness, wherever, anywhere, any place, somewhere, everywhere, all over the place, far and wide, in all places, I think of her, consumed and drained, breathless, thinking, deliberating, considering, feeling, believing in her, and her mighty love, which once she had for me. Looking, here and there, without noticing, how sad, distraught, and hurt, I am even when hand in hand, walking, among happy crowds, except for me, the unfortunate, the miserable, the unfulfilled lover. I loved her, and still do, without conditions, no stipulations, just loving, adoring, idolizing, honoring my true ardor, even now, after 3 decades, apart from each other, even though I have another wife, and she a husband, but loving her I will forever, for eternity, till I meet her again, in my thoughts, in my imaginations, every second that I breathe, every second of my life, every second I have left. Express the truth. Not seeing the one I love, is not the same as forgetting. It never is. Now, I am a lonely man, with a debauched face, to whom serenity comes with a struggle. I am the man with the corrupt face, a friendless man, a lonely man, a selfish, compulsive and anxious man. I who has lived undistinguished, meaningless, senseless, failure-laden long years, who at this moment, is looking for an escape. One companion, I have, on this trip of diversion, its name is terror, my path is fear, while my objective is quite unknown. I don't think I will make it, this is a detour into the nothingness. I am acting on an image of reality, consisting of objects, made of substance and of natural matter. I am sitting by my writing table, behind me a window, which gives me a bright light. Unlock the secret which inhabits my heart, express the truth, without delay. Real, I am, made of flesh and blood, muscle and mind, but in a fitting moment, I will not be able to separate, that which I accept to be real, with that contrived inside my mind. My approach, from the departure of my true life, usually made up of dreams and fantasies, until such dimensions, will undoubtedly go beyond the ultimate reasons of my reality. The case of a man, who has a sour face, with his departure already along a freeway, with an exit sign that reads, "This is your way to escape from reality." Human, I am, safeguarded by a shield of iron, held together by a lone pin. On my way to escapism, just a moment ago, the pin has been removed, my defense fell away, leaving me unbalanced. I have been shot by an arrow of truth, by all the enemies of my life. My insecurity has shot me down, my compassion has smothered me with humiliation. My subconscious is threatening me, my own self has failed me and blown me apart. In a desperate search for my survival, I will climb aboard a perilous car, that is going too fast, and the only place around the bend is hell. Whatever hell is, for me, It comes with sunlight, serenity of peace and tranquility. Not seeing the one I love is not the same as ignoring. It never is. So now I beg, I humbly plead, respectfully beseech, endure unlock to survive. The secret which resides in my heart. I did not see. Show the truth. Listened, I didn't demonstrate the meaning. I spoke without a word. Unbelievable I was in despair. If I know I did not to be locked away, this was not torturing the infatuated and awkward condition had been held. I had to go into the unjust destiny. I was living, so I understood, in a state of absolute dire. Blood sucked and veins flowed. I was a roaming vampire. I walked with the undead, searching endlessly for nutrition, in the dark streets and alleyways, without restraint or condition. I looked, I saw veins of blood. I listened, I heard their cries. I spoke to ease their pains. Life twinges before it dies. I am a parasite, a bloodsucker of some sort, something not to be proud of, but one must live in comfort. I'm dead yet I'm alive, I have to endure to survive. Dead and gone. In dramatic monologue form. The place a small village, in a gloomy afternoon. The journey was mine. A trek of shadows, eyes watching me, I could feel them. I did not know who. I kept walking, on a deserted street. The unknown village, uneveled streets, buildings spread out. From an isolated room, I could hear sounds, pop music of the 60s. I quickened my pace, opened the glass door, an empty room. Nothing, empty tables, vacant chairs. The music burst out, from an old jukebox, yet there was no one. Looked and looked, behind the counter, not anyone there. I called out, hey, no answer. I shouted again louder. Out in the backyard, overfilled rubbish bins, nobody in sight. I was taken aback, I was being ignored. I knew that I was being watched. I didn't know how, why, yet this notion was real. I stood still in silence, gazing around me, noticing the kettle boiling. The music stopped. I was leaving. I saw a clock on the floor. I picked it up, the glass was broken, the time stopped. I sat down, on an uncomfortable chair, accepting my tired body. Then to my horror, I realized to myself, making conversation. I walked impatiently, contemplating, I will wake up. I remained for some time, at the end I got out. Where was I and who am I? Two important questions, running in my head, over and over again. Apprehensive but not frightened, I took the long empty road, hopelessly hoping. I will end up in the heart of the village, more importantly I'll meet someone, false hope, maybe. The evening was creeping in, I kept walking, imagining I saw something. Then in an instant, my lonely heart was filled with joy. I could hear the church clock chiming. I ran towards the sound. I found a fully fetched village. It was empty, completely silent, except for the fucking church clock. I passed houses, looked at the windows, knocked at doors. I opened some, went into the shops, not a person about. The clock stopped chiming. I could hear was my footsteps, they were mine. I nearly lost hope. From afar I saw a figure, in a corner of an alley. A woman in black. I ran quickly, scared, out of breath, smiling. The woman was visible, yet didn't move, even when I touched her. The woman fell on the ground. It was a cadaver, it was a dead body. The body of my mother. I started to laugh, very quietly then hysterically. I sat beside on the ground. I'm really sorry, Mum, picking her dead body up. As I cuddled her with fright, I was alone again, being watched. Watched, over and over, observed, scrutinized, stare at, neglected.
You have been listening to The New Year's Eve Ghost and Other Poems, written by Alfred Vassallo, from the book of the same name. Alfred Vassallo, known as Freddie, was born in Slima, Malta, in 1956, married with 4 daughters. He now resides with his wife Enid, in Colchester, Essex, England.